Hey everybody, this is my review for Shin Megami Tensei 5 on the Nintendo Switch. Shin Megami Tensei is a long-running series from Atlus. For those new to the series, at the most base level, I can describe it as an adult Pokemon game. However, Shin Megami Tensei did begin before Pokemon. The series is dark, filled to the brim with serious topics and intense philosophical ideas. The majority of the game is spent traversing the world, catching demons by talking to them and convincing them to join you, as well as battling them with other demons to raise their level as well as the level of your main character. The combat in this game is a turn-based system where it is your party versus the enemy team. There are a number of elements in the game, such as lightning, force, fire, ice, etc., and each demon, as well as your main character, has their own strengths and weaknesses. The weakness system is imperative to fully master if you want to complete really any game in the Shin Megami Tensei series. If you hit an enemy in their elemental weakness, you get an extra action added to your turn. So if you have 4 party members, if you hit their elemental weakness 4 times, you in fact get those 4 attacks plus 4 more actions, so you could guard or do double the damage or whatever you would like to do. And the same is true of the enemy team. So if all of your demons are weak to something they're doing, you're gonna have a bad time. When you pair this combat system with the demon fusion system, which allows you to combine 2 demons to become one possibly much stronger demon, it can be extremely deep and even overwhelming. My suggestion there would be to get used to the basics of the elemental combat and just catch wild demons before you dive too deep into fusing the perfect demon. Graphically speaking, it is quite a beautiful game. The overworld is interesting. The shimmering sands, it feels like there are crystals floating out of the sand. It's fantastic to look at. And it definitely comes across like the wasteland it's meant to be. There are little characters that are kind of collectibles hidden in different nooks and crannies all throughout, inside of broken down buildings, on top of walkways. You have to really explore to find them, and it makes you appreciate the surroundings more. The demons themselves follow the same look that they've had before, they just look better. They've gone through and smoothed them out and made their models better. When you're in the fusion menu and you're looking through all of the available demons, there's a little bit of pop-in. So it'll pop up with the main model of the demon and some basic texturing, and then a microsecond later, their full textures will pop on top. It's really strange, but I'm guessing that's due to the limitations of the Switch itself. In combat, every skill is unique enough, and it's fun to watch the ones that are actually truly unique, like the main character skills that he can get. The game runs around 30 frames per second. Outside of combat, in the overworld, you can really feel that the Switch is underpowered for this. But it looks good enough. Coming from a 60 FPS game, though, it is hard to sit through. Music and sound design has always been a highlight in the Shin Megami Tensei and really all of Atlus's games. And that continues here with SMT5. I spent quite a bit of time just stopping in combat or stopping in the menus or the overworld just to listen to the music and take it in. I won't say it's to the level of Persona 5, but I love it nonetheless. The voice acting in the game is quite well done. However, be prepared, this is an Atlus game, so there is a lot of dialogue. And they definitely did not go through and voice act all of it. There is a lot of just text that you will see when you talk to NPCs in the world. So I'm choosing to be actively vague when it comes to the story. As with SMT games, one of my favorite parts is finding out all of the particulars of each world that they create. It's just fun. I will say that the story is dark. It deals with life, death, the meaning of everything. Angels, demons, and the human soul. The battle between light, dark, and all of the shades in between, with everything hanging in the balance. I have particularly enjoyed navigating this world and finding all of the stories that they put together for us there. The downsides that I want to talk about here really pertain to mostly the game being on the Switch. The loading times are rough, they just are. The newest console generation has really made me rethink what I find acceptable in loading times for a game. The Switch just does not have the strength that this game needs. The overworld's frame rate is not absolutely terrible, but it feels almost claustrophobic running around trying to avoid enemies, all while the frame rate is bouncing around. And then finally, this one I don't think of as a negative myself, but some of you watching might. The game is difficult and punishing. They expect you to learn the weakness system and be able to use the systems and game them when you can, and build out demons in preparation for the big fights. You will lose. If you're playing on normal or hard, and you've not played these before, you will likely lose and have to come back to those fights more prepared. And that's just the way the game is made to be played. It's not set up for you to fail, it's just set up so you have to rise to the challenge. They did put an easy mode in the game, so you are able to lower that if you find yourself running up against the wall and you're not able to get past it. I had been looking forward to this one since its first announcement back in 2016 with the initial Switch announcement of all places. This series is always a fun, difficult, and worthwhile monster collection RPG. And this one is just as long as the others in the series. You're looking at 50 plus hours to clear the main story as long as you do some of the side content. It's not something you really have to hunt for. There are side quests everywhere. My first experience with this series was actually Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne on the PlayStation 2. And that was actually re-released on the Switch and the PlayStation 4 recently. I'm just so happy that Shin Megami Tensei 5 is out now, and I can play it as much as I want. I love this series and the Persona series so much, and I'm hopeful that some more people will join into the SMT series here. A lot of people seem to be falling off of Pokemon because of the new Diamond and Pearl remakes, because it's too easy or it's just not as fun as they used to be to them. This is really a Pokemon for adults. It is more difficult, it is more dark, there is more adult themes, and it is fun and rewarding. Anyway, guys, have any of y'all got to sit down and play this one yet? I would love to hear your comments on this one, as well as any other game in the Shin Megami Tensei or Persona series in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe.